Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video, I want to discuss everything that I've found out about the photo of Max and Chloe, as well as the photo wall and what role the photo wall will bring into the game, as well as the photo of Max and Chloe. Now there's a lot here that I have to discuss. Some of it I have made in previous posts and videos. I've noticed some things, but now that I have a lot more detail, a lot more evidence to support my claims, there are also theories too. But everything I theorize, all my speculations, all the evidence I want to point to, I want to put it all together here in this video for you all to enjoy. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start off with the photo of Max and Chloe. Is it real? Now, yes, that is the answer. It is real. It was confirmed on the Life is Strange TikTok account, where we see this photo of them on the photo wall Max has with various others. Now, I've heard a lot of people speculating that this photo is merely a touch-up of the previous photo of Life is Strange 2. And if we take a look at the Life is Strange 2 photo, you can see the resemblances in the way they're posing. But it is also different. We see that in the Life is Strange 2 photo, Max is the one holding the camera. And on the photo wall, it's Chloe who's taking the photo instead. Now, what this reminds me of is a game called Mass Effect, specifically Mass Effect 3. Now, if any of you have played it and you romance Tali, you know what I'm talking about. In the third game, after you settle the Geth-Quarian conflict, whatever choice you made, as long as Tali's still alive, she'll give Shepard a photo of herself without her mask. And if you look at the photo from the original game, apparently it's a stock photo, something they just put together because they didn't have as much time to make Mass Effect 3. But if you look at the Legendary Edition, you'll see that the photo has a touch-up and is changed. Now, you can make that argument that this photo is simply a touch-up and nothing more, but there are a few things that can prove that it is and isn't a touch-up. Let's start with looking over Max's shoulder. We see what appears to be ears and a little head. And at first I was thinking to myself, this may be a bunny rabbit or something, but then I realized, no, there's no way it can be. But looking at it closely, it looks very similar to another photo that's on the photo wall. And that photo is a photo of a dog that says Chloe 2. Could it be that Max and Chloe have a dog? I will be bringing this up later, but that's what I thought. But then again, as Max and Chloe, the photo's taking place in Arizona, it could just be a cactus in the background. It's just a bit blurry to properly see, but it may most likely be a cactus. But if it is, then what does this photo have to do with anything? As I said, I'll explain it later. Now, if you take a look behind Max's head, you'll see that there's a little house, with what appears to be a blue roof. Now, we know for a fact that Max and Chloe, depending on what ending you get, has been living a nomadic lifestyle, just never staying in one place for too long, always on the move. Max is just trying to, she takes photos, hands them in the gallery. She wants to become a famous photographer. That's still her goal, despite everything that happened in the darkroom and not. She's not going to let what Jefferson did to her just ruin her art for photography. As a dialogue option, she says, "Don't confuse art with the artist, or the artist with art," whatever one it is. So this leads me to believe that perhaps Max and Chloe were staying at this place for a time, because I went back, I looked at Life is Strange 2. I do not recognize this house at all in the game, so while this is clearly still somewhere set in Arizona, and this is clearly set before the events of Double Exposure, I do think it'd be a few years before, because a lot of people like to say this photo is just a brush up on the one from Life is Strange 2, and yes, that I can see that's a possibility. But I think this might be another photo. You could argue, okay, it's a photo taken around the same time or a little after, we don't exactly know. But I do think this photo is a different one. Alright, now that I'm done discussing this photo, I'd like to talk more about the wall mural and discuss the things I noticed on it and the subtle hints that that tell us about what to expect from the gameplay and shifting between parallel worlds. I'm sorry, I mean two different timelines. Now, this right here is, I believe it's going to be set in Max's room, and this is going to be similar to the evidence board in Life is Strange episode 4. Now, to me, what's most interesting about this is the lights themselves. You see, the screenshot on the left is from the reveal trailer, and on the right, it's from one of the TikTok videos that, whether intentional or not, showed a photo of Max and Chloe. Now, I do believe the lights represent alternate timelines, and I want to show you my reason why. Now, if we take a look at this conversation Max will have with Sophie about Chloe, you'll see that there's a blue moon. And on the right, when Max ends up going to a different timeline where Sophie's alive, the moon is red. Now, the developers have told us how we can when we shift between different timelines, we can gather information and use that information in the other timeline. Similar to how Max, when she gathers information in Life is Strange 1, she can rewind time and then use that information. So I believe that these lights represent the different timelines. The one on the left is the new timeline where Sophie's alive, and the one on the right is the original timeline where Sophie's dead. And this would actually help us out if it's true, because if we keep switching back and forth between timelines, it's going to get a bit confusing, as the developers have said. So we could actually just go back to Max's place and look at our wall and see, okay, what color lights are here? Okay, I'm in this timeline, I can do that. Of course, I plan to have a book with me and I'm going to be doing tally points to determine what timeline I'm in. So it's like, okay, Sophie's alive, I shifted, Sophie's dead, I shifted. I'm just going to keep doing that so I don't get confused. Speaking of confusion, there's a photo on here I'd like to discuss. Not the dog, Chloe 2, but there is a Polaroid that we can see of Joyce. Now, why would Max have a Polaroid of Joyce? Well, I think what we see here is, when we see the photo with Max and Chloe, the new one, we know that that's the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending. But I believe that this Polaroid here is the one where if you chose to sacrifice Chloe. And if you remember at the end of Life is Strange episode 5, when you sacrifice Chloe, everything we done with Chloe in the entire game is completely erased, and it shows us what happens through these pictures changing. And one of them is, it shows Max, and she's looking at a book full of photos, which is where I do believe that this is where she got the Polaroid photo of Chloe, just the one with the blue hair, which shows us it's the Sacrifice Chloe timeline. Now, who's to say that Max didn't keep in touch with Joyce after this? Because Max is the only one that remembers everything. Joyce has no memory of Max and Chloe being together. No one does, because it never happened. So, what I like to think happens is that Max does feel bad about sacrificing Chloe. Obviously, she would as well sacrifice Arcadia Bay, whatever your ending. And I do think that she keeps in touch with Joyce from time to time. And she has that photo just as a reminder. So, not just as a reminder, but she also would perhaps hang that photo on the wall in her original timeline. So, if you sacrifice Arcadia Bay or sacrifice Chloe, whatever photo you have, Max will hang on the wall in her original timeline. This could also be another indicator about, okay, this is my timeline and this is the alternate timeline. Also, if you take a look at the photo wall closely, you'll see that there's the blue moon where Max can look at the photo wall, which is basically confirming that this right here is her timeline. She's putting all photos from her timeline on this wall. And I think the fact that she has Chloe up on their wall, to me proves it's significant. Like, if you sacrifice Arcadia Bay for Chloe, then, because I hear some people say that perhaps Max and Chloe broke up, but I don't believe that. Like, there's so much we haven't seen about we know more about the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending than the Sacrifice Chloe ending, so until we get more info about it, I don't want to jump into that yet. I'd rather have concrete evidence. If it's true and I do find out, I'll let you all know, but I'd rather there be evidence than make a speculation video about it. Now let's talk about Chloe 2. Who is Chloe 2? Well, originally when I made this, I actually made a post of it, I didn't make a video. I speculated that Chloe 2 might be a dog that Joyce gets, because if you listen to a conversation, if you sacrifice Chloe, David will have a conversation with Joyce. It's one-sided, we don't hear her talk. But David ends up mentioning Vet, and he'll swing down and see the boy the next time he's in Santa Rosa. Now obviously Chloe is a girl's name, so this, I could be wrong, most likely, or this could be a retcon. Maybe David thinks that Joyce's dog is a boy, but then when he sees it realizes, oh, it's actually a girl, by mistake. But I did notice something interesting involving the photo of the dog Chloe 2. And that is, if you look at the Polaroids, you'll notice that only one of them has Chloe 2 on it. Not only that, if you look at the position the dog is standing, if you look at the back legs, Chloe 2 on the left has one of her back legs bent more, while as Chloe 2 on the right, the legs aren't as bent. Now, you can make the argument that because the image is out of focus, it looks a bit off, but if that's true, then why is the writing gone? Now, let's say hypothetically this dog is Max's and Chloe's. Now, depending on what ending you get, it could be, okay, if you chose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay, then Chloe and Max will end up finding this dog and Chloe decides to name it after her. But if Max is just by herself, because she sacrificed Arcadia Bay, then Max could end up stumbling upon this dog and just take a picture of it. And this could be a subtle way of show don't tell. And what I mean by that is, it could show us that, okay, in this timeline where Chloe's alive, Max and Chloe own this dog, and Chloe named it after herself, and Max took a picture of it. However, if Max chose to sacrifice Chloe, then, as I said before, whatever ending you get, she's living a nomadic lifestyle. She's traveling from place to place, taking pictures of abandoned ruins and buildings and that, trying to build her portfolio up to become a famous photographer. She could see this exact same dog and take a picture, and I think that'd be very interesting. A nice little subtle reference about about how our choices, what ending we got, shows not just major changes to the game, but also minor changes when we play double exposure. Well, that's the end of this video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoy my content, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe and share the video. You can help me reach more people, and in doing so, I can make more videos, and maybe people could give me their own theories, and I can make videos on that, just to keep the Life is Strange double exposure momentum moving. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.